2025, gross domestic product contracted 0.3%, according to the Commerce Department. Economists say if negative growth continues into the next quarter, it could signal a recession. In an interview last night with ABC News, the president defended his economic policies, saying no one who voted for him should be surprised by his decisions.
I said all of these things during my campaign. I said, you're going to have a transition period. We've been ripped off by every country all over the world.
But hard times are ahead?
I don't think so. I think great times are ahead.
A note, our White House team fact-checked whether Trump used the term transition period while he was campaigning. We only found one example of the president saying that, and he was talking about foreign policy at that time. Let's bring in NBC News senior White House correspondent Garrett Haake, and NBC News business and data correspondent Brian Chung is with us. Garrett, I'll start with you. President Trump met with Elon Musk and his full cabinet, took questions earlier today. What were the main takeaways?
Well, aside from the spectacle of it all, Kate, of just seeing a 2-hour-long meeting mostly focused on praising Donald Trump for his accomplishments in these first 100 days, I think it was grappling with the economy that was the big theme here, whether it was acknowledging that some of these policies that he's engaged in will require more of a transition, or trying to place blame on President Biden for the state of the stock market or the contraction of the economy overall. He also acknowledged for one of the first times that there'll be a real effect on consumers, especially consumers who might find themselves buying goods from China, which is basically everyone. Take a listen to this moment, which is getting a lot of attention right now.
You said, oh, the shelves are going to be open. Well, maybe the children will have $2 instead of $30, you know, and maybe the $2 will cost a couple of bucks more than they would normally. But we're not talking about something that we have to go out of our way. They have ships that are loaded up with stuff, much of which, not all of it, but much of which we don't need.
As a father of 2 young girls, a doll shortage or doll price hike is a big deal, and I don't mean to sound like I'm joking about it, but an acknowledgement that consumers could face shortages or price hikes on key goods, coupled with a false statement about how overloaded ships are coming into U.S. ports, I think puts into perspective the uncertainty surrounding this entire trade war debate, Kate.
Yeah, thank you for that, Garrett. Brian, let me bring you in. So why did GDP fall in the first quarter? Those are the numbers that we just got. And what should people at home know about it?
Well, I think we need to start off with what is GDP. It's a measure of economic growth. That's really all you need to know if you didn't take an econ class. And what we saw in this report was that, yes, it was the first contraction in economic activity that we've seen in 3 years. The economy shrinking by 0.3% quarterly on an annualized basis in this country. A big reason for that was imports that were front-loaded by companies that were trying to bring product into the United States ahead of the tariffs. If you import more than you export, that has a drag on economic growth. So it may have been a lot of companies anticipating maybe not enough dolls being around for the holiday season, trying to order their dolls before January 20th. So I think that pull forward is a reason why we saw that drag. The question is that underlying weakness in the economy? Not necessarily. Consumption, investment, government spending still look pretty solid in this report. But the big question, does a negative print get passed on to quarter two? If there are 2 back-to-back quarters of negative growth, some, actually many, would consider that to be a recession.
Yeah, I kind of feel like we may have a doll index now. Garrett, let me go back to you. The president also giving some conflicting messages today, right, about who should be taking credit for what's happening on Wall Street, the dive, the tumbles that Wall Street has taken. What did he say?
Yeah, somebody who covered the entirety of President Trump's campaign, this one was particularly maddening. Throughout most of the last 2 years, the president, then the candidate, Trump, was quick to claim that any jump in the stock market was a credit to him, that it was all about his poll numbers and the idea that Trump and his economic policies would be coming back. Now, today, he's placing blame for the stock market on President Biden, who has not been the president of the United States in 101 days, suggesting that somehow his policies haven't had a chance to take effect, when it is, in fact, his policies that, as Brian was laying out there, are the kind of main driver of everything we're experiencing in this economy right now. So the president trying to have it both ways. Stocks are bad, Joe Biden's fault. Stocks are good, President Trump's credit.
Brian, one last to you. In that interview with ABC News last night, the president also said that prices on gas, groceries, and eggs are down. What's the reality of that?
Well, I mean, the rate of inflation has been coming down. If we're just looking at the price tags for those specific items, it's not true when you take a again for things like eggs, bacon, and gas. Prices go up. Specifically, eggs from $5 to $6 a dozen. Bacon. The same. Gas prices have been going sideways, around $3.25 nationally.
Bacon's down a little.
Bacon's down a little bit, but again, I do want to point out, that is something that has to do with kind of bird supply, bird flu. It's not necessarily due to one specific party's politics, but nonetheless, it's just not necessarily true that he can claim credit for prices being down when, on average, some of those prices are going up.
Brian Chung, Forrest Garrett, Hake, thank you both. We have some big updates.